Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So today there was actually a lot of Palantir FUD out there, and I thought that I would make a video about it because some is straight out hilarious, but some is actually something to really dig into, because when Codestrap says that we need to pay attention to this, it's Codestrap. If he knows something, all the Palantir shareholders need to pay attention. So did he turn bearish on Palantir, or what happened? It's going to be at the end of the video. So please make sure you're subscribed. We're going to go into Palantir FUD and let's see if we should be worried. So number one, background story. So what's happening with Palantir? Palantir has hit a very serious resistance at $20. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4 days now that it has not been able to break through this resistance line, and that is because simply the market thinks that over $20 Palantir is overvalued. So every time it goes over there, people start selling, and then they push back down the price, and then the buyers come in, and then every time they push the price over 20, people start selling. And this can be a very short term, or this can be a very long term thing. I personally think, as a past technical guy, that if we form a base here below 20, and let's say we would come back to this trend line and then bounce back and then would break through 20, it would be a much stronger breakthrough, and it would much more signal that we will stay above this price, other than, you know, going straight up with this huge gap and just going straight through 20. I would feel that that's a more temporary breakthrough and not as significant as, you know, having, you know, been fighting that level for quite some days and then breaking through. But now what I really want to bring to your attention is that looking at these charts is super short term. It doesn't have any long-term meaning for the stock. This is really stocks astrology for the next week. So if your time investment horizon is more than a week or two on Palantir, you shouldn't really pay attention to this. But because Palantir is not able to break through this, there is a lot of FUD coming to the surface today. So let's begin with the first one. So Amit has tweeted, "All right, folks, got a big update. I teased this idea last week on Palantir Weekly, feeling the aggressive run up may cause some insiders to sell. Peter Thiel's VC fund, Mithril Capital, sold 2.4 million shares of Palantir today at a price of 19.94. He founded..." Sorry guys, that should have been open. He founded the fund in 2012. The fund initially purchased Palantir shares from 2012 to 2013. Must be at a way lower price than it is today. Maybe even below $1 or something. As of June 2023, Mithril Capital Management LLC owned 17,861,224 shares of Palantir, which was 0.83% of the company. Oh, I would be happy to own 0.83% of Palantir. They now own around 15 million shares after today's sell. So this in itself just tells you, because I saw this headline on Twitter that, you know, insiders are selling now, and it's definitely a trim in the position, and it's a position that they've had for 12 years now. If they started buying at 2012, they were hugely up on this position. I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 20 to 100x up on this position. Let me see, maybe he mentions it here. Not sure how much they bought the shares for, but the sales of the stock on the secondary markets were going for $6 to $8 in 2015. So I'd imagine their buy price was in the range or below, since they were bought in 2012. My thoughts, 2.4 million shares is about 13% of their total holdings. What this signals to me is, after 10 plus years of holding, they felt the stock was priced attractively enough to sell 13% of their position. They obviously still have a lot left, and given Peter is a co-founder of Palantir, it seems unlikely his fund to completely dump their stake at these prices, given Peter understands where Palantir can be in a decade. So I don't really have an opinion on it. They didn't 100% sell out. It's a small part of their position, and after owning a stock for 10 years and being I'm very sure that their price is way below the $6. There was a bull market all the way from 2012 to 2015. This was a successful startup at the time, so it must be that they were having up rounds. So if you've held a stock for 10 plus years and you're 10x up, you are completely justified in trimming your position. So this is a non-issue. Here's another tweet. Jesse, who's very famous on Twitter, has a very big Twitter following. He is also a technical trader. So he writes, Palantir still couldn't get and hold above the $20 for the fourth day in a row. For this reason, I'm going to liquidate most of my portfolio. There's just better places for me to apply the capital within the next few months. To any haters, I've already profited greatly, almost $600,000 from this stock. So take a breath and focus on your own lives. So Jesse is clearly a trader. And to be honest, congratulations, man. 600,000 up on Palantir. Very well done. And yes, when you're a trader, your time horizon, he even writes this, that for the next few months, he has a better place for his money. My money is in Palantir for the next few tens of years and decades. And this doesn't mean anything. I agree that because of where the stock is for the next few days, there is a high chance that the stock is going to go down. You still cannot guarantee it. So this is, again, a non-news. Now, Chris Patel, this was a funny one. So he writes, Palantir short thesis. Palantir generated close to 36 million in interest income last quarter. If rates go down, why did I forget to open all these tweets? Okay, if rates go down, that income goes bye-bye, and you need to replace it with real income from operations and not just interest on cash and cash-like securities. On top of this, the growth is slowing down significantly, and spend on the corp inside should also decline, thus making it harder to make money. In what world does today's valuation make any sense? If you long Palantir at these prices, good luck. So thank you, Chris. I'm long Palantir at these prices. So this is a very not credible tweet. I think that Chris has this, Jim Cramer sickness, if I might say, that he's following too many stocks, and then, you know a lot about, how does it say? You know a little about a lot, and whatever. There's a saying. The point is that the amount of stocks that he's following is a lot, and I don't think that he can go into depth into every stock. And on Palantir, just on Palantir, he made a bet with Edinburgh about if Palantir was going to outperform Snowflake this year, and he actually bet some real money, $2,000 with Edinburgh, and he really lost that bet. So on Palantir, he doesn't have the best track record, and so this interest income of 36 million. This is not the only income that they had. They also were operationally positive, and the operational leverage that this company is getting is rapidly increasing. So I don't think that there's any worry that they need to replace this amount. On top of it, when they are going to start cutting interest rates, a lot of people are thinking that that means that we go from 5% interest rates back to zero, like within 2-3 months. And unfortunately, that is not the case. We are going to go, very slowly and measuredly down, and maybe by the end of 2024 we will be at 4.25%. So that's still very significant interest income for Palantir, and maybe at 2025 we will be at 3%. It's still very significant income, but again, nobody has invested into Palantir or is holding Palantir at the current levels because they have 36 million interest income. The company sales slowing is somebody looking at the rear mirror view and even missing Q3 of Palantir, because I have news for you, my guy. It is re-accelerating, and they're going to have 70 boot camps in November month. 70 freaking boot camps, which is more than all the pilots that they have done last year. So I would be very surprised if Palantir doesn't very seriously re-accelerate their growth with new customers. And because of this, the valuation makes sense at this point. I agree that it's quite richly valued, and you don't have a lot of room for errors. So obviously I was buying Palantir in the $8 range, and that's when it was a fantastic deal for me. And I'm not buying at this point. I'm buying Rocket Lab, but I'm definitely holding at this point because the company is executing amazingly. The thesis is intact, and honestly we're in this very boring phase with the company where, you know, they're just doing good, and we need to just wait those quarterly reports and see that they keep continuing to do good. This is why I'm also making less Palantir content, because there's just not so much to talk about. They're just doing good, guys. So now we come to some real scary stuff. So Codestrap, he tweeted, today is the first day of Microsoft's endgame, and it's going to mean massive competition for Palantir. Start at 3804. Myself and ticker symbol U have been signaling this for months. They are winning with developers. So one very big threat for Palantir, just like Tesla, competition is coming, competition is coming. And it does look like, I'm going to play the video clip for you, what he meant, and then we're going to see, and I'm going to show you the tweet, what he replied to his own tweet, how big of a threat it is. So let's watch this.
All right, so let's go one more layer up the stack to data. You know, it's perhaps one of the most important considerations, because in some sense there is no AI without data. Microsoft Fabric brings all your data as well as your analytic workloads into this one unified experience. Fabric has been our biggest data launch, perhaps since SQL Server, and the reception to the preview has been just incredible. 25,000 customers are already using it. And today, I am thrilled to announce the general availability of Microsoft Fabric. Let's roll the video.
Microsoft Fabric is redesigning how we work with data by bringing all your data and analytics tools into a single experience. With Fabric's Data Lake, One Lake, your teams can connect to data from anywhere and all work from the same copy across engines. Your data professionals have all the tools they need, all in one SaaS experience to reduce the cost and effort of integration. Features like Direct Lake Mode in Power BI, which provides a blazing fast, real-time connection to your data, can save you time and cost while providing up-to-date insights. This intelligence can then securely flow to the Microsoft 365 applications people use every day to improve decision-making and drive impact. All backed by Fabric's tight integration with Microsoft Purview to govern and protect your data, no matter where it's used. AI-powered features like Copilot help everyone be more productive, whether it's creating data flows and pipelines, writing SQL statements, or building reports. And as we enter a future built on AI, you can unify, prepare, and model your data to support truly game-changing AI projects. All your data, all your teams, all in one place. This is Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, you know, Fabric, the vision come together. In fact, today, really it's exciting to add this new capability that we call mirroring. It's a frictionless way to add existing cloud data warehouses as well as databases to Fabric from Cosmos DB or Azure SQL DB, as well as Mongo and Snowflake, not only on our cloud, but any cloud to Fabric. And they're all in open source Apache Parquet format and the Delta Lake format that's native to Fabric. And to bring this home, let me just kind of walk you through a simple example. Let's take an electric car charging company that wants to proactively alert its maintenance teams and crews about stations that need maintenance and servicing. So the real-time data is streaming in, so the IoT stuff is flowing right in from the charging stations into Cosmos DB. They can use mirroring to keep the Cosmos DB and Fabric automatically in sync. Inside of Fabric, they're already connecting all the other relevant data. It could be maintenance schedules, weather from Azure Databricks, AWS S3 or ADLS together into this one single lakehouse. With all this data unified, You can then obviously model on top of it using just data in Fabric. But you can also use now this new integration between OneLake and Azure AI Studio to build a preventive maintenance model that alerts maintenance teams when an EV station is likely to need servicing. And of course, you can build a simple Power App that delivers these alerts to the maintenance crew. You can even embed a chat function into a Power App to gather more context about the alert. This type of example is how all your data, operational store, analytics, and AI all can come together. In fact, we're integrating the power of AI across the entirety of the data stack. This retrieval augmented generation, or the RAG pattern, is core to any AI-powered application. It's what allows you to bring together your data with these foundation models. And the first thing we did is we've added vector indices to both Cosmos DB as well as to PostgreSQL. And we aren't stopping there. We moved the management of AI-powered indices out of the app domain into the database itself with Azure AI extensions for PostgreSQL. This makes it easy and efficient for developers to use AI to unlock the full potential of all their relational database, all their relational data in a database. And with Azure AI Search, we've built a first-class vector search plus state-of-the-art re-ranking technology, right? Delivering this very high-quality responses, much beyond what you can just get from a vanilla vector search. In fact, just last week, when OpenAI moved some of their APIs, like their agent API, from a standalone vector database for ChatGPT to Azure AI Search, they saw unbelievable scale benefits. And it's fantastic to see this now powering ChatGPT. Now let's move up the stack and talk about how...
So that was the whole presentation part about Microsoft Fabric. And the reason why this is dangerous is because Microsoft has a super good distribution method. I mean, they are reaching billions of people with their products. And I mean, he already said that they have 25,000 customers. Palantir has over 400 customers. So it's almost, it's a bit late here, but 60x. Yeah, so it's a bit more than 60x the times of customers they already have. And it sounds like this is more of only data analytics, that you're able to like put your data together. But you did say that you're able to build apps on top of it. The apps are able to, give alerts. So it's a lot of things that you would use Foundry for. And what Microsoft tends to do is, for example, with Microsoft Teams, is that they took Zoom, which was a hit product, and then basically they gave it for free and bundled it with their other services. And because of the distribution, they really, they didn't take Zoom out of business, but look at Zoom stock. It didn't really help it. So this does look scary, but I want to show you what Codestrap says in his tweets, if I can. Let's see. We need to see this thread. So somebody says, it will come down to who is getting the value you expect. Microsoft built some god-awful stuff and they get easy revenue in their ecosystem. We'll have to wait and see. Yep, this is Codestrap. So Codestrap is very important. He really knows what he's talking about. Those of you who are new, he has been doing a lot of Palantir explainer videos. He's a programmer himself. He understands how Foundry works from inside out, and he was working for a startup, but then he ended up being hired by PwC to actually implement Palantir Foundry to their customers. So he is actively working with Palantir Foundry, and he was a super big proponent on Palantir and before on YouTube. Because of his work, his YouTube is not active anymore, but it's very, very important to pay attention to him. So yep, I think ultimately this could increase the pie, and substantially as customers will want to compare offerings. No one knew they needed solutions like this a year ago. However, Palantir has very poor visibility. One way to get on the radar is via developers and partners. So again, he is reiterating that Palantir is not good with developers. They don't have as many people that know how to use Palantir as people who knows how to develop for Microsoft. That's just an isness. Is the race closer, or has Microsoft taken a step ahead? Foundry has so many more features and clearly ahead of for non-software engineers. But Microsoft has a way better software developer ecosystem, tool chain, and platform. So again, here he talks about the main difference, that for engineers that are not software engineers, so I guess here he means the end users of Foundry. Foundry is a lot better, but yeah, Microsoft has just a better climate for people who are software engineers. Then, this will start the no one ever gets fired for selecting Microsoft trend. However, deeply integrating into specific verticals like defense and healthcare can continue to strengthen Palantir's moat. There are a lot of reasons to select Foundry than there are to select Microsoft at the moment. People get fired all the time for backing easy plays and leave the company undifferentiated in their capabilities and causing the resulting ass-kicking by competition. Very good answer. Is Fabric Microsoft version of an ontology? Not really. More data integration and transformation. There is no ontology equivalent in Microsoft, which is a big reason customers may opt for Foundry. So again, those of you who don't know, I'm not going to pretend that I understand everything. Like, for example, this presentation that the Microsoft CEO gave was very Chinese to me. So ontology, as far as I understand, my very limited understanding, is that it's how you categorize the data. So it's like how you tell the data what is what. So it knows that, for example, this data is a problem, this data is like a good thing, and then the AI can think with how to categorize the data. So what this means to me is that Fabric is a much more simpler product that is not as intelligent as Palantir Foundry, and that is a good news. And then Alex is saying, I wonder, this is ticker symbol U, I wonder if this is actually good for Palantir, kind of like how Apple building the Vision Pro headset legitimizes the VR market, which is good for Meta. So this can also be good for Palantir because a lot of big companies try Microsoft Fabric and then they see that this is such a thin and shallow product and then they need, the one that the big boys are using. I can imagine that it can be a little bit like buying a Microsoft laptop and a MacBook. And if you are on a budget, you want to buy a Microsoft laptop, and then, once you start making some real money, you want to maybe opt up for a MacBook Pro, and maybe that's what you really want. It's like that for a lot of people, I understand, not for everyone. So maybe some companies would think, yeah, like why we're small and don't have so many employees, it's fine with Microsoft Fabric, but once the organization grows and becomes much bigger, then we need the thing that the big boys have. So overall, this is the most scary thing out of all the ones that I have shown you. But as investors, we have to get used to constantly being told that your company is being out-innovated, is going to get killed by other products. I mean, if you were a Tesla investor, all you heard for many years is the competition is coming. This is the new Tesla killer. This is the new thing that is going to bankrupt Tesla. If you were investor in Apple, every year when the iPhone is released, there is newspaper articles coming and saying how this year the iPhone sales are dropping like a stone, and then somehow it never ends up being correct. And in the beginning, every time there was a new company coming out with a different smartphone, it was like, this is going to kill the iPhone, Samsung is going to kill the iPhone, and Apple is just, alive, well, and kicking. So I guess this is something that we have to put up with, and I have a lot of trust in Alex Karp. They are doing fantastic. There is zero reason to believe that this is going to slow them down or hinder their progress in any ways. And honestly, this market is huge. We are living through an AI boom currently, and probably every company on this planet is going to need some sort of an AI tool. And believe me, this market is going to be big enough to support Microsoft and Palantir. So overall, this was the most potent bad news, but it's still I'm not worried about it at all. And despite all this FUD, I'm not even thinking about selling Palantir, as I'm a long-term shareholder. This is just the usual noise of owning your shares. We just have to go through it. So let me know if you like this video. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite part. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.